the two Pilates Chicks.
And we are here in our studio in LA, the Traditional Pilates Movement Collective.
Yay! And we're here for season 7, episode 7, 7-7.
7-7 in July.
7 in July. So this one is, we have a goal. We have a goal with this podcast. Last podcast, season 7, well, it was our summer series.
Yeah.
We had the NPCP executive director, past and present, Ray and Lolo. And they were talking about certification and what the NPCP is about. But we're still seeing on social media so much misinformation, so much confusion. Students that are potential students coming into our program, very confused into the industry and these things we're going to go over, as well as long-term teachers still not understanding kind of what we're going to cover with certifications and that kind of thing. So we also kind of wanted just to dip our toe a little bit into the history of, because we're going to talk about the PMA, the NPCP, and when we went through our training to be teachers, there was no PMA, there was no certification process. You went to your mentor, your studio, you did your training, fully comprehensive, and off you went to teach. And after the lawsuit, then the PMA was formed. We talked to Kevin Bowen, if you want to go back to our summer series previous.
2025.
Yeah, he talks about the formation of the PMA. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of giving a little brief on that, but we are both certified teachers and we NPCP. Mm-hmm. So we're going to kind of dive into the deep waters here a bit because it's been a little frustrating for us.
Yeah.
As teacher trainers, educators, running our program and dealing with, and just seeing all this misinformation in our industry.
Yeah, it's just a lot of confusion, misinformation, both purposeful and from just misinformed people. And so it's mainly frustrating because I think it does a disservice for the whole industry, for people who are certified, teachers who are not, for long-term teachers, new prospective students, everybody. It's just discord and chaos that we're seeing, and it's just doing a big disservice for all of us.
Yeah, and I think we kind of have a little, I guess, like a blueprint of our discussion here. But when it came, and we kind of delved into it a little bit with Ray, but the whole thing with the PMA and the separation. Yeah. So that you had the PMA, they were PMA and you were a PMA certified teacher, but the NPCP broke away and formed NPCP. Mm-hmm. To become accredited. Yeah,
that it was necessary for the membership organization to be a separate entity, mm-hmm. which was PMA, to have a separate entity of a certifying body. So for many years, I think Ray talked about in our last episode, for many years they were working towards that goal of having a separate entity in order to have an NCCA accredited certification.
For our industry.
Because in all the other fitness stuff, there are accredited certifications for those practitioners, mm-hmm. such as personal training, yoga, various group fitness, cycling, whatever. They all have their own accredited certifications.
But Pilates did not have that.
Did not. And it didn't matter, like, you can go through whatever local program or programs that people know of. You can go somewhere that's not a Pilates place or gym and say, well, yeah, I trained with this person with this legacy. And they say, I don't care. I don't know how to verify that. So the whole point is that NPCP separated, working with PMA to separate, they created mm-hmm. these separate bodies.
This was not a quick thing.
Yeah.
This was like years of, building to this point.
Which I think people don't realize a lot of time, but it was many, many years with the goal of them separating in order to create an accredited body. And so then that happened. They became accredited. Yep. The NPCP is an NCCA accredited body.
Yes.
And so what that means is the NCCA National Commission for Certifying Agency,
Yep.
I believe.
I think you're right.
All of these other certifications in personal training, let's say like ACE, NASM, ISSA, like all these other entities that teach and educate personal trainers and fitness professionals, they are accredited to certify.
Yep.
They are NCCA accredited.
Yep.
As
so
is
now
NPCP.
Yeah.
And PMA is not,
No.
as they are the membership organization of our industry.
Yeah.
Which means it is a buy-in membership. They do
Continuing education, workshops. You get discounts on things, I think, if I haven't.
Yeah, and community events and that sort of thing.
Which it's always been that, right? Like that was what PMA, like we had the conferences and all of this.
And it was always great. And
and
we need more of that. And we need that again because it kind of died out after like COVID stuff. But the whole idea of when we first did our PMA certification
test,
the test, it had to be, what we had to write out was PMA-CPT because we were PMA certified. We were not actually accredited certified.
Right. And I think that's a good point. Like if you go into the definition, because I think that's where it gets muddy for so many people. Is the definition of accreditation and the definition of certification.
Yes.
And we'll kind of do the broader, but also as it entails to our industry.
Yeah.
Because I think that's being just thrown in a very truthful way.
Yeah. There is, so like with the NCCA, if any entity, whatever industry it's in, if an entity says they are NCCA accredited and they are not, there is actually legal ramifications for that.
Yeah.
That is actually an issue.
Yeah. And the NPCP is accredited with NCCA.
Yeah. The NPCP is NCCA accredited.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that the term accredited is a very loosely enforced term, and in general, the fitness industry is very loosely enforced. There really is not a
There's
governing,
no regulatory,
aside from like if there's a huge incident and some client sues their personal trainer or whatever, that's its own thing. But there's really not an enforcing body for calling yourself certified when you're not, for a program saying they are something they're not, beyond just being kind of swindling people.
Kind of shady.
Yeah. And so the term accredited is officially, if a program is accredited, it has an NCCA accreditation.
Yeah.
Now, you also can be in a program that then decides to say, let's say I'm like the DaVita program, and you're like, you are DaVita accredited. That is technically allowed.
Yeah.
It is not.
But does
accredited.
that carry weight?
No.
No.
There is no actual.
Because it's DaVita accredited.
That there's no actual regulatory official backing of it.
Yeah.
So for accreditation, let's say, okay, big names that we all know, Balanced Body or Bozzy. Let's say.
Or Peak or Star.
Or Peak, anything.
Any of the commercial programs.
Anything. So you say, okay, I did a Balanced Body program. I am Balanced Body certified. Technically, that is true.
Yep.
But that certification holds no official legal weight to it. There is no accreditation behind it. So it's a private school. The company itself has designated that you are certified, but there's no third-party verification. It validates like the mastery of that specific brand's or that specific school's curriculum, repertoire, and methodology of teaching and Pilates. And it can be highly respected because those names are known. But legally, a private certificate is not an independent certification.
Right.
So then,
like we tell our students when they go through our program that they are not certified.
Yep.
That they're getting a certificate. And then when they sit for the NCP, then they will be certified.
Yeah. So you're finishing our program.
But we could say
you are
certified with this program.
You're Hillary certified. Yeah.
Exactly. Like we just certified. You're Hillary certified.
But you are getting your certificate of completion. It's your little diploma for this program.
You graduated.
So then, like, as we were saying, the national certification of Pilates, you are an NCPT teacher. You are nationally certified Pilates teacher. So you're not just Hillary certified, you are nationally certified.
Yeah.
That your certification number holds weight to it. It has verification power. It can be verified and known that what you say is true, that you did this many hours, you met these baseline standards, that you have done what you are saying you did.
Yeah.
Because you can say, sure, I did whatever,
this many
100,000 hours of teaching and 100,000 hours of anatomy. If you don't have a certification number, there's no way to verify that.
Yeah.
Right. So if you...
and there are many places that will ask for your certification number.
Yeah, there are. And in fitness, gyms and studios often don't, but you do have to show something. So you can show your, let's say again, balanced body certified certificate, whatever. But if you're trying to work in a university or a medical facility or an allied health field,
college,
any kind of a college, higher education, these things that need some sort of more weighty verification, the only thing that counts in our industry is having your NCPT, having sat for the NPCP exam.
Yeah.
And so, as we said before, like that means that the NCPC is nationally accredited. It is accredited via the NCCA. They are an independent third-party exam designed to test minimum competency and public safety across all types of Pilates methodology.
Yeah.
And it is the only nationally recognized accredited professional credential for Pilates teachers.
Period.
And that is it. That just is what it is. So then we move into the idea of school accreditation.
This is where I get a little boily.
Which this is a major problem that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing the PMA reinstituting the ITTAP program.
Which was an approval school, like an approved program. So approval is different, right? It's like you meet these standards, we approve this school. And that was back when PMA had the certification.
Before the
split. So it was a registry of schools and it was approved schools that met the standards to do the PMA certification exam at that time.
Right. So the school approval program.
But they weren't accredited.
No.
They weren't.
They were not accredited and the schools were not accredited.
No.
And
they were approved.
They were approved, and if these schools met certain guidelines and standards, you could look at this list and say, okay, these schools are on this list. I'm a prospective student looking to be a Pilates teacher. I want to see where to study. I'm going to look at this list of these approved schools, knowing that this means they meet these
standards for sitting for the PMA certification exam.
Which is protective for prospective students, because it's saying, yes, this is a valid program that is giving you what it's saying you need.
Yeah.
This is a program that will give you the right foundations for a career in Pilates.
Yeah.
And now we have that with NPCP, the school verification list. In the same way, that means these schools on their list.
So it's the exact same thing.
Exact same thing. These schools on the list are meeting these general guidelines that allow any student
to sit
for the NPCP exam.
Yeah.
That if you go through these schools, you are eligible to sit for the exam to be certified.
Yeah. And our school is, if you look at the verbiage that you would use here, our school is NPCP verified program. Meaning we align with the NPC exam eligibility requirements so that students know, oh, if I go to this school, I meet, like we talked about with the other, I meet the requirements. And then also I'll be safe going into this.
Yeah.
But there's a list, and they're not accrediting the schools.
Nope.
They're not sponsoring the schools. Nope. It's basically, we verified they meet the standards.
This is a third-party verification so that this prospective student can know this is a program that has been verified, that it is meeting what I need. Like, my money is going into a program that is acceptable.
Yeah, that I will be able to sit for the exam.
Yeah, that I can become certified.
Yeah.
Because we do see, like, you can see in lots of fitness stuff, there's various programs that people say, oh yeah, like, come do this and you'll be whatever certified, and people will pay into very expensive programs thinking they're at a legitimate program, and not just in Pilates, but a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
and then you end up in some, weird thing where you're like, okay, well, I paid all this money and I got nothing out of it. And so similarly in Pilates, we're going to be seeing some of that because of this PMA ITTAP stating that those schools are accredited.
Right.
That students are now going to be paying into programs thinking they're at an accredited program that it is not. And so they'll then leave the program thinking that means they are certified or that their
school was accredited.
And it's incorrect. And so similarly to being able to say, like, I'm balanced body certified, a school could say, if they meet the PMA ITTAP requirements and pay their fee to be on their paid registry, the accreditation that they're claiming, you can say my school is PMA accredited, but that school is not accredited, nor is the PMA accrediting anything, or are they accredited? So this is an internal industry association on a membership basis. These school quote unquote PMA accreditations are a pay-to-play directory model. So the organization collects a fee to list the schools, but they lack the regulatory authority and independent oversight. So it's primarily a marketing tool, and it holds no formal institutional or academic recognition.
Yep.
So that's
very confusing, and we've actually had students coming in to interview for our program and wondering why we were not on the PMAs. Mm-hmm. And which we didn't even know there was one at the time.
Yeah.
But that being on that does not, like you just said, accredit it. It's not an accreditation for our program.
No.
And neither is, it's like, so these students are getting very confused. It's like, well, why are you not on it?
So then they're like, oh, well, I need to go to only one of the programs that are listed on that PMA list. And the schools that are listed on that do have to meet certain eligibility requirements that the PMA have designated. But so it probably allows for those programs to be a decent program for students to be in.
Yeah, because they're using the standards that we had set.
Yeah, that the original
school
approval
had set,
program.
Yeah.
But the problem is that those schools are not accredited. They are not certifying. And the PMA is not accredited. And it's very confusing for students, and they'll feel very swindled.
Yeah, we had a graduate. She's in another state, and she had a friend who was going through teacher training. And she said, yeah, it's an accredited school, blah, blah, blah. And our graduate was like, I'm sorry, what? And so did some research and found out that it had been, PMA accredited school, had to explain to her friend. So then her friend felt, like she'd been misled. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, I paid because I thought it was an accredited school.
Right.
And then to find out it wasn't.
Yeah. And that's the thing with this ITTAP list. I think a lot of schools, again, because there's no regulatory oversight, a lot of schools are going to be saying they are an accredited school or that they are like PMA sponsored or whatever verbiage they want to use that's inaccurate. And so they can then charge more because they can say, oh, we are an accredited school. Those other ones aren't.
Yeah,
and
true.
see, we're on this list. We're accredited. And people don't know any different. And so they'll pay more and be in a program that they thought they were paying more for an accredited program when that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah.
And so in a sense, like this whole certification and actual accreditation, the NCC accreditation and then PCP certification, like these are supposed to be protective factors for
our industry,
teachers, our whole industry.
Public.
Teachers, clients, and students. And this like gray zone loose definition that's being used to mislead and to advertise is doing a disservice for all of us.
Yeah. And we've always been, and I've always been, because from when PMA was a certifying body to MPCP, very, very following the verbiage. And that's what you need to really think about is like, I never put I certify. I never put, accredited. You never put, it's like there's these words, and I think we'll get into them. It's like with MPCP, and we talked about, we're a verified program.
Yeah, very specific
verbiage. And we're also a Gratz Pilates teacher training partner.
Yeah.
We have a collaboration, a partnership with them. So it's like these words that aren't misleading.
Yeah.
That are very,
very clear.
And it's getting really, especially with social media. I mean, you and I, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Have just been our brains exploding.
Yeah.
She's just nodding. Yep. Just because we feel like as an industry, things are so off the charts, and social media makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
And this whole use of these words and these school, this, that, it's dividing it even more.
It's dividing, it's misleading. It's, I don't want to say purposefully misleading, but it is purposefully using that gray zone. And I think a red flag for any prospective students is any program that says, any teacher training program, any school that says they certify you, that's a red flag to avoid that program because that's inaccurate.
Yeah.
And they're misleading you.
Although let's caveat that with what you said earlier.
Yep.
So we could essentially say, yes, you are Hillary Opine Pilates certified.
Right.
Balanced Body can say you are Balanced Body certified.
Yep.
But we cannot say we are certifying you so that you can go out and work at
anywhere. You're not like, yes, you can finish your program and go teach because that's how the industry, unfortunately, I think works. But you are not certified.
Yeah.
And
nationally certified.
You are not nationally certified. And so the caveat with like there might be, I believe there's a couple of programs that are somehow associated with like ACE Fitness, and ACE is NCCA accredited. So those programs potentially, I don't know exactly how it works, but those programs
there's one we're thinking of
that could say if somebody leaves that program, similarly to if a personal trainer leaves that program, they are then certified.
I kind of think they are just based on history.
Yeah. And so, but they have the NCCA backing.
Yeah.
Now, if they're not associated with those other entities, they're not. ACE Fitness, NASM, all of those things. So I think it's important for prospective students and teachers to know that red flags, like if somebody's saying they certify you, that is misleading, that's misinformed and inaccurate.
If the school is accredited,
that's inaccurate, that's misinformed, that is advertising falsehoods. If anyone says they are NCCA accredited in the Pilates industry, besides the MPCP, that is actually can be
a legal issue. Yeah. That is a problem.
Major red flag. So just be aware of those things. And then in terms of like the whole issue with this ITTAP list is that the NPCP, as we've said, has a school verification program.
Yep.
And as
a list.
Yeah. And as they are the entity that certifies, they are the only third party in our industry,
Yep.
right? So the PMA is a membership organization and it's a business. And so unfortunately in business, the main goal is to make money. And so in my opinion, if the ITTAP program was more affordable for programs, it would be better because it could then more small independent programs could afford to take part in it. However, you still have to be aware of using the word accredited because that is, as we've stated, not appropriate.
Yeah.
So I think with the PMA moving forward with this ITTAP, accredited should be taken out of it, or they should be very, very, very clear to say PMA-accredited, and they should be stating to their participants, and it should be blatant on their website, that schools on this list are not accredited, they are PMA accredited, and schools cannot use the word accredited.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's also another red flag that, like, programs that are very loose with their definition, they're purposefully using that gray zone.
Yeah. Because like you said, there's not a lot of regulation. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking today in our industry. So going and waiting in that gray area is pretty easy because no one's going to call you out. No one's going to like legally come after.
Right.
But I just think it's disheartening because you and I, we've been in this industry a really long time.
Yeah.
Before all of this. And it would be nice to have, our membership organization and then our certifying body and have it be cohesive, have it be where it's not this kind of confusion of
purposeful confusion. And ideally the PMA would be working to support the NPCP verification list.
Yes, that's what I agree with.
And not be creating their own entity to make money. The money should be coming from conferences and organizational, like, community events and membership and education, workshops, all of that is so needed. And I would really, really like PMA to be doing that and then supporting MPCP school verification.
Yeah. Because I feel like the PMA is, we remember it, like back in the day before COVID.
It was all of that.
It was all of that. And it was community and it was, membership and you've got, workshops and conferences and this and that, whatever. But with that split that had to happen for accreditation.
Purposefully.
And this was a long time in the making. It wasn't like this, like, oh, let's do this. Boom.
What did race? It was like...
It was years. I mean, when I was doing the teacher training summit and stuff, it was made clear, eventually this is our goal. Like, it was always a goal.
Yeah.
Like, this is where we're heading as an industry. This is where we need to go. So it was always there. And it was always... So the standards, all of these things were being met so that could happen.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people were very frustrated with the PMA at a certain point, but like during the COVID years, because there was the COVID years where they felt like the PMA wasn't stepping up to support the industry and help us through that, blah, blah, blah.
That's a whole rabbit hole.
And that's a whole thing. But I think like we need to look at what we're seeing today, what the PMA is supposed to be, what MPCP is. And how can we get more cohesiveness and support throughout the industry?
Yes.
And teachers that say, oh, well, I don't want to be certified.
I've been teaching for blah, blah, blah.
For forever. Honestly, I mean, at this point, there are so many people everywhere. There's so much social media. There are so many people talking about everything. The only way to verify if you know what you know is having a basic certification. I don't care about legacy. I don't care about generation of teaching.
No.
I respect the experience and longevity of long-term teachers, at this point, everyone should be certified.
Yeah. I just think that the noise is so loud and everything is so discombobulated.
Yeah.
And that just getting everyone, like these teachers that have been out for a long time, and understanding that the certification is something to strengthen our industry and something to legitimize it even more.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand the misunderstanding of why that should happen.
Yeah. Well,
and we're two people that came from learning and being teachers before there was any certification. So it's like, obviously, we could easily have gone the route of like, well, I'm already teaching.
Yeah.
I've been teaching for this many years. Why do I need that? But it was like, no, this is important.
It's necessary. It's important. And eventually it will just be the norm, because in the same way that personal trainers, to get a job, they need, if you're going to go be an employee at a gym, like a personal trainer needs an accredited certification.
That's the other thing, and you and I have discussed this multiple times, is these studios that will hire anybody without even asking, well, a lot of times, if they've even been trained.
If they've even finished their program.
If they finished their program, or did they graduate, or, are you getting certified? Because, it's fine to go out of your teacher training program and go get a job, but you should get certified.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, there's a lot of, I think, responsibility in the studio owners as well.
A lot. And like we're saying, the studio should not be stating that they are accredited. They should not be stating that they certify blatantly.
Now they can say they have certified teachers in their space if they are certified. Yep. And that's a good thing for a potential, client to go to and go, oh, those teachers are certified.
Yeah.
So I think that's, and that's something like when we have grads move and they say, oh, there's a studio near me, this is the name of it. We'll go on the website and we will look and go, red flag, red flag, red flag. But if it's like certified teachers that, are MPCP, you're like, okay, go check that out.
Safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think we talked about on this episode so far, but we talked about with Lolo and Ray about,
which is the previous one, if you want to go listen to it. It's a good one.
The example, if we want to take it out of the Pilates industry, so that you can have a better lens of like, take a step back and just, not think about Pilates. If we're talking about a lawyer, somebody wants to become a lawyer. They go to law school. They finish law school. They get their diploma. So they finish their schooling. They
graduated law school.
They graduated. They get their diploma. They then have to sit for the bar in order to be a lawyer. They cannot state that they're a lawyer without having sat for and passed the bar.
Yep.
Similarly to doctors. You go to med school, you get your diploma, you do your boards.
Yep.
Then you are a doctor. In Pilates, you do your school program, you get your certificate of completion, which is your little diploma, you sit for the MPCP exam, you are certified. It's really not that confusing.
And I mean, you can sit there and I'm sure, I don't know what kind of feedback we're going to get on this episode, but it just is really, as educators, studio owners, and teachers for so many years, it's just maddening because I feel like we're going backwards.
We are.
And it's very frustrating when we made such strides before COVID in terms of certification, in terms of, clear and community.
Yeah.
And it's so just like, I just can't even think of a verb that covers the chaos in my brain.
Well, I was just thinking like maybe during COVID, like a lot of people started teaching online. They maybe did teacher training programs online, which a lot of programs have moved into the virtual.
We won't even go down that road right now.
And so I'm thinking maybe a lot of people started teaching without having maybe finished a program or being in the community and knowing even what the MPCP and PMA are. So there's that potential too, because it got so much worse after the virtual years of
it did.
COVID.
Yeah.
But do we want to finish up with the little example of Kathy Green?
Let's do, because we're just rambling at this point, I think. No, I'm kidding. But yes. Yeah, let's do that.
Because we were talking about how...
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We almost forgot this part. It's like the most important part.
So if we want to go back in history and be like, okay, everybody says like legacy and whatever.
Yeah.
So Kathy Grant and
Lolita. So they wanted to teach, like you talked about, at universities, at college, right? And the state of New York said, well, we have no proof that you are a Pilates.
That you know anything.
That you know anything. Because they're like, they learned from Joseph Pilates. They're like, we need a certification. We need, you to be, blah, blah, blah. Not certification, but we need to see that you've done this many hours. Blah, blah, blah.
Verified
your learning. So they went to Joseph Pilates, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so basically, they had to study with him for this many, blah, blah, blah. And then go back to New York, the state, who then certified them.
Yeah.
Joseph Pilates did not certify them. He basically was like the training school who verified they did these hours. Mm-hmm. And then the state of New York certified them so they could go.
So the state of New York, this example here was essentially the original teacher training program and certification like we're talking about today.
Yeah.
So the state of New York essentially was the MPCP third party.
Exactly.
We're
like, we don't have, what proof do we have that you know what you're talking about?
Yeah. So they're the independent organization. Mm-hmm. Joe was the original, obviously, teacher training program. He was the school.
He was it.
So Kathy Grant and Lolita went and learned from him, obviously. And
they had to meet these certain requirements for the state, which was MPCP, if you think about it.
Yep. And so this was the original blueprint of what we have today. And that started all the way back then. With the elders, with the original.
Yeah. So again, it's a play on words, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't certify them.
Correct. The state certified when he verified that they had met the requirements for his school.
for New York, so that they could do what they wanted to do.
Yeah. So that they could teach at the university.
Something to think about.
Yep.
I just love that story so much.
Me too.
But we would love to hear maybe some of your thoughts. But we just thought it was really important with all the misinformation, confusion with students, and seeing teachers that we know for a long time. I've had teachers reach out going, hey, what are your thoughts here? Because I'm not understanding and I don't see the benefit, and explain to me. So it was important for us to kind of dive a little deeper. But if you didn't listen to the previous episode, which was with Lolo, I almost said Lolita, with Lolo and Ray, they really get into the history and kind of the PMA and the separation.
Yeah.
And that process.
Because they were there. They were there. It all.
Yeah. Ray's been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yay. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Yay. Bye.